girls. My name is John Ryerson. When you hear this sound, it means to turn the page. Turn the page. And now we will begin the story. 5 Little Firemen by Margaret Wise Brown and Edith Thatcher Hurd. Pictures by Tibor Gergely. Turn the page. A little house caught on fire. The fire started so quietly, and it was such a little fire at first. A flame, like a little mouse, came darting in and out of a hole in the hall closet, and darted back again. A policeman smelled it. So he ran to the corner, opened the red alarm box, and called the fire department. Then he went back to the house. Turn the page. Ding, 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 rings the fire alarm in the little fire station. Ding, ding, ding. 5 little firemen slide down the firehouse pole. Sparks! Shouts the first little fireman, puts on his white helmet, twirls his black mustache, and jumps into the little red chief's car with its shiny brass bell. Cling, clang. The first little fireman has to be the first at the fire to tell all the other firemen what to do when they get there. He is the fire chief. Turn the page. A fire won't wait, says the second little fireman. Round as a pumpkin, he jumps into the driver's seat of the hook and ladder truck, the biggest fire engine of all. We'll save all the people, says the third little fireman. The third little fireman jumps on the side of the hook and ladder truck as it rolls out the door. He has muscles as big as baseballs. He is that strong. He runs up the ladders and carries the people down the ladders, that third little fireman. We'll squirt lots of water, says the fourth little fireman, who is bright as a button and so drives the huge tower truck. I sneeze in the smoke, says the fifth little fireman. Spry as a fly, he jumps on his hose truck and roars out the firehouse door. Turn the page. Clang, clang, woo-wee. Get out of the way, get out of the way. Here come the 5 little firemen with a clang, cling, clang, and a wee and a woo. They go whizzing up a street called Oak Street, then whizzing around a corner into 12.5 Street, down Asphalt Avenue, and up the King's Highway. Turn the page. And over Baseball Boulevard to Small Bush Road. Dong, dong, dong. And there, on Small Bush Road, was the little house on fire. Flames the size of pocket handkerchiefs were waving out of the windows, and lots of smoke. Turn the page. This was the house of the Hurricane Jones family, and inside they were sleepily sneezing with smoke. House on fire! Get out as quick as you can! Step lively! Said the policeman. Mrs. Hurricane Jones tried to grab her 3 little boys and run out of the house with them. But when she went to grab them, the first little boy had run to grab his cat. The second little boy had run downstairs and out of the house to take care of his rabbits, and the third little boy had grabbed all the flowers that he had picked the day before and was halfway down the stairs with them. So Mrs. Hurricane Jones, still very sleepy, threw her mirrors out the window and picked up her pillow and ran downstairs. Mr. Hurricane Jones grabbed his pipe and his matches and came afterwards to be sure that all his family were out of the house and standing in a line on the lawn. And there they were, all safely out on their front lawn, each holding in his arms what he loved most. Turn the page. The first fireman shouts orders. The third fireman rushes off to find the cook. The second fireman backs the hook and ladder truck into just the right place. The Hurricane Jones's house is too tiny for big ladders, so he takes one of the little ladders and puts it up to the side of the house. The fourth little fireman points the water tower at the flames and the fifth little fireman unrolls the hose and screws it onto the red fire hydrant. Turn the page. The water that runs under the street in big pipes all the time gushes through the hose. It squirts out of the nozzle like a roaring river through the air. Swish! They smash in the windows to let out the smoke, and swish! In roars the water to put out the flames. The smoke gets all brown and yellow when the water hits it. They chop down the burning wood and throw fireproof blankets over the furniture. But where is the jolly fat cook? The third little fireman has found the cook, and he wants to carry her down the ladder on his back in the fireman's carry. "Nix," says she. She is too fat to carry, and too big to jump into a net, and too jolly to stay and burn up in the flames. So they shoot up the lifeline for the Hurricane Jones's jolly fat cook to slide down. And down she comes. "Jewallopers," says she. It was getting warm up there. And soon all the bright flames were wet black ashes. Turn the page. And the crackling sound of the flames was quiet, and there was only the great purring of the red hose truck pumping water, and the bright searchlights of the fire engines making the trees and the bushes much greener than they had been before. The fire was over, and the Hurricane Jones family went home with their Uncle Clement to sleep. "Fire's out," calls the chief. "Let's go," says the second little fireman. "Some cook," says the third little fireman. The engines turn around and go away. Turn the page. Only their bells clang slowly now. Clang, cling, clong, and a ding, ding, ding. They all go back to the firehouse. The 5 little firemen have to wash the engines. They polish the bells and sirens and all their equipment to be ready for another fire alarm at any minute, should one come. But there is no other fire that night. Turn the page. 5 sleepy firemen jump into bed. 5 little firemen, brave as can be, sleep, and they dream of the beautiful sea.